Hi, my name is Mark McCormick. I'm the Education Specialist here at the Environmental Nature Center, and today we have another animal ambassador friend for us to meet. This is Fiesta, the Rosy Boa.
The first thing you notice about Fiesta is her really interesting colors. Pink and gray colors help her to blend in, not really with where we live in Orange County by the beach, but more the mountains, like in the Mojave Desert and the rocks in the Mojave Desert, like these granite rocks behind me. Her colors help her to blend in with where she lives. We call that camouflage. She has a couple other really interesting superpowers, like when she gets too hot, what she does is she digs a hole in the sand and she'll go ahead and have a nice sleep. And she does that during the daytime when it's very, very hot in the desert. She sleeps. And since she sleeps during the day and she's awake at night, we have a word for that, nocturnal. When an animal sleeps during the daytime and is awake at nighttime, she's nocturnal, just like Rosy is right here. And Rosy has a couple other interesting superpowers, like her head. If you take a close look at her head, it looks pretty similar to her tail. And that's not a coincidence. This helps her to survive because if an animal may be threatening her, thinking about turning her into breakfast, lunch, or dinner, what she's going to do is she's going to curl up into a ball and expose her tail. And it'll make predators think that that's her head. And if they take a bite of her tail, it's not as bad as them taking a bite of her head. And it helps her to survive pretty well indeed. Even if it does get really, really hot in the desert, she can survive because she has variable blood temperature. Some people call it cold-blooded. What that means is during the daytime when she's in the sun, her body temperature goes up, and that's okay. During the nighttime when it's cold, when she's in the shade, her body temperature goes down, and she can survive that way very easily. But human beings, we don't do that. If our body temperature goes up a little bit, we have a fever, we need to go to the doctor. If our body temperature goes down a couple of degrees, we need to go to the doctor too. But Fiesta doesn't have to worry about that problem. She gets her name because she's nocturnal. Normally, because we are not nocturnal, we're what's called diurnal. We're awake during the daytime and asleep during the nighttime. Usually the only people that are awake at night are people that are having a party or a fiesta. So that's where she gets her name from. And you can see her really interesting forked tongue. Looks very, very different than ours. And she uses that forked tongue to smell. Go ahead and plug your nose and stick out your tongue to see if you can smell with your tongue. Doesn't really work very well, does it? She does this with a very interesting organ that she has in her mouth called a Jacobson organ. And that helps her to detect smells, not only what she's smelling, but where the smell is coming from, so she can slither over and try and find some pretty good smells. Let's go ahead and find out how she slithers around and moves on the ground in her habitat. These are just the sort of rocks that Fiesta blends in with. And these are just the sort of rocks that she would love to slither in between in order to wait for her prey. What she is an ambushed predator. And what she's going to do is she's going to slither around and wait until she finds some prey. When she does, she's going to wrap around them and squeeze, squeeze, squeeze until their heart can't pump blood into their head. And then she goes ahead and swallows them whole. After that, it takes her about a week to digest her food. So she only has to eat once a week. Sometimes even less during the winter time when she's really, really cold. She goes and does something called brumation, where it's almost like hibernation, where she doesn't eat very much, she doesn't go out very much, and she just stays in until it gets a little bit warmer. The Environmental Nature Center provides a tremendous service for our community. Free, public access to nature, environmental education, and a sanctuary for our community to escape from life's pressures. The ENC depends on income from programs to fund our operations and pay staff. The recent school shutdowns will result in a considerable loss of income for the center. Please consider becoming an ENC member or making a donation. Any amount helps. To donate, please visit encenter.org.